The term cult is used loosely by many who may not be fully aware of its connotations. See, that's the problem you people are having. You're not fully aware of its connotations. To prevent confusion, some theologians actually avoid using the term. See, we should take the word cult out of the equation altogether. Let's make that word extinct, friends. For Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't like it. The World Book Encyclopedia explains that traditionally the term cult referred to any form of worship or ritual observance. We're all in cults, you guys, come on. By that criterion, all religious organizations could be classified as cults. See, we're all in a cult. Endorsing the popular usage of the term, Newsweek magazine explains that cults are normally small, fringe groups whose members derive their identity and purpose from a single charismatic individual. See, that's not Jehovah's Witnesses. There used to be a single individual, Charles Taylor. He's dead. Now there's many of them. Similarly, Asia Week, I subscribe to Asia Week, by the way, magazine notes that the term cult itself is vague. Cult, it could mean anything except Jehovah's Witnesses. But usually, it denotes a new religious creed built... Oh, by the way, Jehovah's Witnesses are the only true religion that's been around for thousands of years, so it's not a new thing. Creed built around a charismatic leader who often proclaims himself to be the personification of God. The mother organization. Just kidding. The language used in a joint resolution of the 100th Congress, and in my opinion, the best Congress, of the state of Maryland, USA, also conveys the derogatory connotation of the term cult. You see, the media and Congress, they're just attaching a derogatory connotation to the term cult. The resolution states that a cult is a group or movement exhibiting excessive devotion to a person or idea and employing unethical manipulative techniques or persuasion to control and advance the goals of its leaders. If you hear fireworks, friends, that's they're celebrating Tom and Katie's divorce. So ignore that. Clearly, cults are generally understood to be religious groups with radical views. Sound like anyone you know? Just kidding. Views and practices that clash with what is accepted today as normal social behavior. Usually they conduct their religious activities in secrecy, like a building with no windows. Calm down. Calm down. Like a back room? Never mind. Many of these cultic groups actually isolate themselves in communes or in plain sight. Their devotion to a self-proclaimed human leader is likely to be unconditional and exclusive. Any of this ringing bells? Often these leaders boast of having been divinely chosen or even of a divine nature themselves. Occasionally, anti-cult organizations and the media have referred to Jehovah's Witnesses as a cult. A number of recent newspaper articles lump the Witnesses with religious groups known for their questionable practices. What? But would it be accurate to refer to Jehovah's Witnesses as a small fringe religious group? Cult members often isolate themselves from friends, family, and even society in general. Let me read that for you a second time. Cult members often isolate themselves from friends, family, and even society in general. We're going to read that a third time. Cult members isolate themselves from friends, family, and society in general. Is that the case with Jehovah's Witnesses? Are the witnesses using deceptive and unethical techniques to recruit members? Is that a rhetorical question? Cult leaders are known to use manipulative methods to control the minds of their followers. Is there any evidence that Jehovah's Witnesses do this? Is their worship cloaked in secrecy? Are they following and venerating a human leader? Pointedly, are Jehovah's Witnesses a cartoons? What the evidence shows. Fuck all that. Let's get down to the evidence. A government official of the city of St. Petersburg, Russia, explained,
Jehovah's Witnesses were presented to us as some kind of underground sect, sitting in the darkness and slaughtering children and killing themselves.
However, the people of Russia have recently become better acquainted with the true nature of witnesses. After working with Jehovah's Witnesses in connection with an international convention, the same official observed,
Now I see normal, smiling people. Even better than many people I know. They are peaceful, calm, and they love one another very much.
Jesus, get a room. They smiled at him. He thought they were sitting in the dark and slaughtering people, but they smiled at him. And everyone knows that cult members aren't peaceful and calm. He added,
I really do not understand why people tell such lies about them.
Witnesses do not hold ritualistic meetings? Nor is their worship cloaked in secrecy. Non-witness author. I like how they qualify people as non-witness. Author Julia Mitchell. There's two kinds of people in the world, witness and non-witness. When they meet, usually more than once a week in kingdom halls, their meeting sites are not called churches. Let's get that straight. Most of their time is spent in Bible study and discussion, not slaughtering children in the dark and having sex. Their meeting places are clearly marked with a sign, whereas the People's Temple didn't have a sign. Cults don't have signs. Witnesses have earned the reputation of being honest, courteous, and industrious. I thought witnesses were despised by all the nations. They're fulfillment of Bible prophecy.
Many who are not witnesses readily acknowledge that there is nothing freakish or bizarre about Jehovah's Witnesses. Their conduct does not clash with what is accepted as normal social behavior. The New Encyclopedia Britannica says so. It accurately states that the witnesses insist upon a high moral code in personal conduct.
It's not a cult. The director of a news and special projects for a television station in the United States wrote to Jehovah's Witnesses for some reason in response to a biased report about the witnesses on the TV news show 60 Minutes, a very disreputable program. He said,
If more people live the way your faith does, this nation wouldn't be in the shape it's in. I am one newsman who knows that your organization is founded on love and a strong faith in the Creator.
Someone actually wrote that. That's not a made-up letter that they just...
I want you to know that not all news people are as biased.
See, this is refreshing. There is one honest newsman still out there. One man left standing who isn't controlled by Satan. We can't tell you his name, but this is a real letter that he wrote for some reason to I don't watch 60 Minutes. Those people are puppets of Satan.
Members often isolate themselves from family, friends, and even society. Is that the case with Jehovah's Witnesses?
I do not belong to Jehovah's Witnesses,
wrote a newsman in the Czech Republic. I am not a JW, but
It is obvious that they, Jehovah's Witnesses, have tremendous moral strength. But watch it! They are not fanatics. They are people who are absorbed in humanity.
That's how I would describe them. Just people absorbed in humanity. Because of this close adherence to Bible teachings that the veneration and idolization of human leaders, so characteristic of cults today, is not to be found among Jehovah's Witnesses. They reject the concept of a clergy-laity distinction. What? They do! They do! A clergy class and distinctive titles are prohibited. It's not to be found in Jehovah's Witnesses. Unless you count the anointed ones and the John class, the 144,000, but just those titles. They're not really titles. We don't get people titles, though. And except for circuit overseers and district overseers and zone overseers and factory overseers and Bethelites, Gilead missionaries, elders, ministerial servants, unbaptized publishers, pioneers, MTS graduates. But that's as far as it goes. Unless you want to group in there the faithful and discreet slave, the governing body, the coordinators committee, the personnel committee, the publishing committee. You got your service committee, your teaching committee, your writing committee. Well, I like being on the writing committee. We write about cottage cheese. How delicious it is. Bellyache about the titles, but they follow Jesus Christ as their leader. Because the titles don't matter, because the Bible says neither be called leaders, for your leader is one, the Christ. And Jehovah's Witnesses do not call their leaders leaders. All right? They call them leading men. Wow, how romantic. They are the leading men, which is slightly different. There is a noticeable difference there. And calm down. This is scriptural. It's from Acts, which mentions the chosen men. And as we can read in this publication, the governing body are the chosen men. You are in the presence of these chosen men. So be grateful for that. Wait a minute. I'm thinking about something we just read here. That phrase sounds familiar. Chosen men. There's something to do with cultic groups. Oh, I remember now. Often these leaders boast of having been divinely chosen. But I'm sure that's not applicable in this case.
More important, they are engaged in an educational program.
That is more important than the threat of a cult.
How many religions have an organized system to pay personal visits to every individual in their community?
I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with the deceptive and unethical techniques used to recruit members.
Multitudes around the world are well acquainted with Jehovah's Witnesses.
Well, then they can't be a cult.
Of the millions of non-witnesses who are studying the Bible with the witnesses, or who have studied with them at one time or another,
that includes me,
we ask, were there any attempts to brainwash you? Yes! Did the witnesses employ mind control techniques on you? Yes!
Oh, I mean, no. Would doubtless be your frank response. I thought it was yes until they told me it was no.
Obviously, if these methods had been used, there would be an overwhelming number of victims in contradiction to any argument in favor of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Your eyes are not deceiving you, folks. They actually wrote that. It doesn't mean anything except Jehovah's Witnesses. But usually, it denotes a new religious creed built... Oh, by the way, Jehovah's Witnesses are the only true religion that's been around for thousands of years, so it's not a new thing. Creed built around a charismatic leader who often proclaims himself to be the personification. By that criterion, all religious organizations could be classified as cults. See, we're all in a cult. Endorsing the popular usage of the term, Newsweek magazine explains that cults are normally small, fringe groups whose members derive their identity and purpose from a single charismatic individual. See, that's not Jehovah's Witnesses. There used to be a single individual, Charles Tisdale. He's dead. Now there's many of them. Similarly, Asia Week, I subscribe to Asia Week, by the way, magazine notes that the term cult itself is vague. We should just take that. We should take the word cult out of the equation altogether. Let's make that word extinct, friends. For Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't like it. The World Book Encyclopedia explains that traditionally the term cult referred to any form of worship or ritual observance. We're all in cults, you guys. Come on. The term cult is used loosely by many who may not be fully aware of its connotations. See, that's the problem you people are having. You're not fully aware of its connotations. To prevent confusion, some theologians actually avoid using the term. See,